What's going on, everybody? This is Mike checking in. Actually wanted to do a video while I'm out here in Nashville, Tennessee for training, and I think this is probably very appropriate because I'm going to talk about staying on track with your goals while traveling, whether for business or for vacation. And I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges when I speak to people is how do I stay on track, or they just kind of let everything go and they think that they're going to get back on track once they get home. And let me tell you, coming back from a vacation, trying to get back into a routine, that's very challenging. That's very hard because you get kind of stuck into the routine of your travels, and it's hard to recover from that sometimes. And then you come back and trying to get back to your old routine can be very challenging. So hopefully some of the tips that I will be suggesting will be very helpful. That way it's a little bit more easier when you go back home to get right back into the routine that you were in. Number one is getting the lay of the land. So what does that mean? That means, like, before you even step in that car, that vehicle, to start traveling to your destination, or even that plane, is that you're planning ahead. You try to figure out what's accessible to me. Is the gym at the hotel, is that going to be sufficient to my needs, or do I need to find something else that's nearby that's going to be helpful? What time does that gym open? Is it accessible even in the early hours of the morning or late night? Because if you're traveling for business or for pleasure, chances are during the day when regular gyms are open, you probably might not be able to go because of those other responsibilities. And so that's what I had to do. Is I was like, okay, the gym at the hotel, not sufficient. What's nearby that's accessible? And I like to work out in the morning, so I needed something that's either 24 hours or Anytime Fitness or something to that extent, so that I can go early morning. And so I was able to luckily find one in Anytime Fitness, literally walking distance, like 12 minutes away, according to Google Maps. And luckily, that gym is associated with my work in the health field, and I didn't even have to pay for the week. And plus, I got the card to access it anytime. So I go at like 3:45 in the morning so that I can hit the gym. It is a smaller gym, so you have to be aware too what kind of equipment is accessible to that gym that you're going to, and be willing to be flexible in that workout that you're trying to accomplish. And this is a really small gym. It's really nice, but it's really small. So I can't do my regular workout there, which is fine, because honestly, it's had to make me go outside the box of trying different approaches that I probably wouldn't be trying in my regular gym, just because it's my comfort zone. So I think that's been very helpful in changing it up, forcing me to change it up. And that might be even helpful for other people. You may get like really stagnant in your workouts, and going on a business trip or a vacation is going to help you step outside of that box. And so you want to get the lay of the land when it comes down to training facility. Number two is getting more of the lay of the land, like what's accessible to me as far as nutrition, what kind of foods are out there that I want to try out, that are typically I can't get in Seattle. So, I should have done more research, but honestly, there's a Whole Foods across the street, and there's literally a Walmart, like a super Walmart, 5 minutes away. And I think, so I went to Walmart, and I was like, man, Walmart has been stepping up their game, because they got protein over there, like protein powders that are decent, and they got pre-workouts that are like name brands. And I was like, man, and they have smaller servings, so I didn't even have to bring my protein, and I didn't even have to bring my pre-workout, just because it was accessible to me. And then there's a Whole Foods. I mean, honestly, like, that place is expensive, but honestly, like they have some good food there, and you know, it's somewhat healthy, you know, as far as things that are just easily quick pickups that I can take on like my business my business trip, take it to the office beforehand. So that's the biggest thing, is getting the lay of the land, getting comfortable before you even head out to that place. And you know, number two is just being able to, you know, get into a routine once you're out here. You know, with anything, it's about planning and getting comfortable with it. You know, like, you know, I know that I'm gonna be training for 4 hours, 8:30 to 12:30. I know I have some meetings after the fact, so I know that I need to work out in the early morning, or it's just not gonna get done. And the other thing is, I know that I'm not gonna be able to eat my regular food that I typically have at home. So what's accessible? Oh, there's a cafe, you know, right downstairs, first floor of the building. I know that I can, you know, get things made to order, so I can, you know, get things that are associated with my macro breakdown, and you know, that's been very helpful. And then the other thing is just bringing a scale. I have a traveling scale that's been very helpful, guys, and it's pocket size. So I weigh out my food still. Like, I'm not a pro at weighing out food or just eyeballing, like, oh, that's 4 ounces of that, and that's about 200 grams of this. Honestly, like, I'm not at that level yet. So I brought that just to help, and it keeps me aware. If I have this on hand, it keeps me aware of my surroundings, that I'm not just here for a free-for-all and just guesstimating macros, because I know I'd be way off. And so that's very helpful, is just staying in the routine, getting yourself into a routine, because like I said, when you go back home, you're in a good routine. You don't want to throw that off track. So if you're in a routine on your travels, you know, that's only going to be translatable once you get back. And you know, knowing that I'm going to eat more of like the good, you know, local food here in the evenings, I plan ahead with my other 4 or 5 meals that I have throughout the course of the day. They're still good food. It's just I keep a lot of my fat grams for a little bit later, because I know everything in the South has got a lot of fat in it, and that's why it tastes so good. So brisket, barbecue in general, fried chicken and waffles, oh man, like, so I definitely make sure that I'm aware of my surroundings. And number three is just take away and learn from these experiences, because with anything, you know, every trip is a little different. That way you can learn different principles and take that to the next trip. Like, what worked, you know, in those past 4 trips that I can, you know, take with me for my next upcoming trip. And that's going to help stay the course, especially if you're coming back to the same place for multiple times. You're going to be such in a good routine when you come out here. It's just going to be like, you know, like it's second nature to you. So I think the biggest thing is, if you want to stay on track, you know, at home, that's easy. When you're traveling, you know, you got to keep up and stay in that same routine, figure out what works. That way when you go back home, you know, it doesn't take you a while to get back into a routine. You know, you've already set that standard. So hopefully that's very helpful with those 3 different principles. Just getting the lay of the land, figure out what your routine is, and number 3, learn from those things from the trip, so that you can make that next trip even better, even a better success. And just one last thing is, just don't get frustrated, don't get stressed out. Like, I know it's easier said than done, but the more you plan, the more you the more you keep yourself aware, you know, that's what's really going to be, you know, very helpful for you in your journey. And You know, everything's a learning experience, so take that to heart. And if there's any questions, by all means, you know, leave them in the comments below. But other than that, thanks for checking in and have a good one. Bye-bye.